We live in a digital age where the big data is very important. So in this big data era, such as open data is a big initiative where we take advantage of the information to promote new innovations. However, the private information being exposed is not something I'm not comfortable with yet. Especially the policy, the law and regulation in terms of this privacy changes daily. And it doesn't mean that our technology be ready anytime. So we should prepare our technology to dynamically adapt to the change in the policy regulations. Today, I'd like to talk about this, just that. Hi everyone. So I'd like to start a special lecture about privacy-preserving data management. So let's start this lecture with a reality check. Just imagine the world where every move you take is being tracked. Do you think anything positive or negative? Let's hear your opinion.
I think there might be some benefits, but I don't enjoy being tracked all the time.
And you don't like being tracked, okay?
Yes.
So I think that's many people think. I agree. Anything positive you think of?
Yes, the criminal rate might be reduced due to the fact that everyone, including the criminal, is tracked.
Okay, so since we all are being monitored, that means even the criminal is being recorded. That's a good point. Do you agree with that? I mean, any positive things?
Yes, I agree. There are some other benefits, such as when someone is dangerous or so we can send a rescue team to help them.
Another good point. Yes, if somebody is in danger and then we know where they are, maybe they can help out quickly. Any other things, perhaps?
Maybe positive. I think in this information and technology age, you really need all information to provide better service for your customer. I think it is good enough for the future business idea and strategies. I think this will be good.
Okay. Thank you for all the information. Yes, that's all the good point. Just like you guys shared, yes, some people, probably many of us, don't like to be tracked all the time because you feel you're being invaded of your privacy. But on the other side, you gain from being monitored all the things, including the criminals, and there's a trade-off. Certainly there's a trade-off between the good things and bad things. Okay, so there are several challenges I like to discuss with you guys today. So how can we promote use of personal information while preserving our privacy? That's the challenge. We like to share some information if you can gain for your own personal benefit as well as, like you mentioned, maybe for the society or the group as a whole. So that's the challenge. And another one, how do we know, indeed, if the contents, the original content, stay the same? Because the content, the information changes, that means it gives the false information. So today I'd like to try to solve these challenges based on these three clear steps. The first we can do is to hide and anonymize all the information. That's the first step we can take. And then store all these informations. Finally, to just reveal the provide information only when needed. Those are the three steps I'd like to discuss. So the first, to hide all the information. This is to protect your information, the data, which we use the encryption technology. So encryption is a process of encoding any information in such a way that only the authorized user can access. Unauthorized user cannot access the information. So that information, for instance, the name, the street address, and perhaps the phone numbers of individual. That could be personal information. And applying the encryption technology, the content is not identifiable. And of course, the authorized user can revert this process to gain the correct information. So in this process, completion successfully, you can hide the information. And on top of hiding the information through the encryption, now we need a process called de-identification. That is to separate individual from the actual content. That is, if you have the set of the individuals, you use the identification process so that these people cannot be identified clearly. A partial identification is still existing. We need full or complete de-identification. So this is the first step, the encryption and through the de-identification. So once content is safe, secure, and then we need to make sure the content data integrity. So data integrity means the content cannot be altered without being noticed. So traditionally, the client-server system, on the left, the image you see, this is the typical service infrastructure, where clearly the server resource, in this case, in the middle of this network, is going to provide the resource or services to the rest of the node in this system, clients. And typically, we do have a peer-to-peer. This is the distributed infrastructure on the right side. This is where there's no longer a particular server serving to the rest of the clients. All the peer entity inside this network. So these peer can act as a server actor to provide the services to any of the participating peers. So we will take advantage of this distributed infrastructure, such as P2P infrastructure. Using this distributed infrastructure, such as P2P network, and we can implement distributed ledger. The distributed ledger is having the replication of a data set, records, or such databases, different parts of the peers, so that there the replication, the identical replication, such a way that any alteration of the content on, say, the one particular node will be noticed, and so that you cannot change any content without being noticed by among the peers. So in this way, we can guarantee the data integrity. The last step is to reveal only the necessary information. And this is quite an important point. Even you have the data source securely encrypted, and even the data integrity is proved, then we have to make sure that if somebody asks inquiry for some questions, only the necessary information, and preferably those should not expose any of your privacy. So this is privacy-preserving inquiry and response to the process. So let's give you a simple example to explain this. So let's suppose there's a crime investigation taking place on this map. The red cross on this map is the location of the actual event took place. For this type of situation, maybe the law enforcement, the police officer, for instance, we try to find who was in this particular location. So who were at the crime scene last night, for instance. This particular inquiry is considered as a valid inquiry in this system. So in this case, the personal information, any of the individual, if somebody was at this particular location, the response is yes, otherwise no. Otherwise, this system will only expose the minimum private information of each individual. So the other scenario in this particular case, if even the law enforcement, the individual could ask other questions such as where were you last night? So this inquiry in this system be considered as invalid inquiry. This is invalid in terms of the privacy preservation perspective. So the system is smart enough to detect the differences, if it's valid or invalid, in terms of the privacy invasions. And on top of that, these inquiries can be logged in these ledgers so that even any of the wrongdoing will be detected. So that essentially this type of system, as we say, somebody said, even we expose some privacy and we gain some benefit. In this system, actually, we are not exposing much of your privacy, only needed. And the minimal amount of privacy may be released. So if somebody asks invalid question, of course the system will reject responding to the answer. Once inquiry is logged with the display ledgers, it can spread instantly so that, again, this inquiry is a valid, invalid, is recorded. Anyone, any authority is not going to try the wrongdoing in this type of system. So today I show this simple 3 steps, the process, start hiding and anonymizing the data. That's all the data being encrypted. And then this is the identification process made. So that data privacy protection is made, and then start all the content. It's all encrypted, it's de-identified, it is safe, even though this is distributed geographically. And then finally, we can promote this system or the process, which will only reveal only needed information to minimize the exposure of your privacy. So such a system can perhaps make our living world in a better place without exposing the privacy. As you study at INEAD, and if you continue beyond at INEAD, I'm sure you find a particular research topic you find on maybe your favorite subject, such as, say, encryption or networking, database. But from now on, I believe the world, the technology is moving so fast, the integration of these ideas from different topics, the subject, is going to be quite important for achieving and solving new solutions. As you continue studying at INEAD and beyond, you will find many interesting research topics, and that may not involve just one particular subject. You may be liking encryption, cryptographic technology, or perhaps the database design or networking. That's what exactly I have combined those 3 topics in this solution. So perhaps you may think of integration of many of the topics as you collaborate with the rest of your students and maybe try to find meaningful solutions and then try to achieve solving those big challenges. Thank you.